Well, greetings. Today we're looking at Psalm 5. You know, when we look out at the world, a lot of times we look out and there are things that just, quite frankly, trouble us. I mean, they just overwhelm us. That's what's happening to the psalmist in Psalm 5. He's looking out and he's seeing things in life that just aren't right. He sees evil. He sees people with bad motives. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and it is troubling him. And what happens in this psalm is the psalmist kind of realizes that he, number one, can go to God. Number two, that there is an audience he has with the king that's predicated upon the mercies of God. And that number three, there's tremendous fruit for those who ultimately put their trust in the Lord. Psalm 5 is inscribed to the chief musician with flutes, a psalm of David, and it begins, "Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation." That word meditation is a Hebrew word that means groaning. It's deep. "Give heed to the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for to you I will pray." He realizes that this groaning that's so deep, he can actually come to God and pray. "My voice you shall hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning I will direct it to you, and I will look up." You know, sometimes I think our audience with the king, it's a theological reality that we know about. The psalmist is saying, you know what? I'm actually going to do it. You are going to hear my voice, Lord. In the morning, I will direct it to you, and I will look up. He says, I'm actually going to get into God's presence and share my heart with him. Then in verses 4, 5, and 6, and you see it in verses 9 and 10, he's describing what he's struggling with. He says in verse 4, "For you're not a God who takes pleasure in wickedness, nor shall evil dwell with you. The boastful shall not stand in your sight. You hate all workers of iniquity. You shall destroy those who speak falsehood. The Lord abhors the bloodthirsty and deceitful man." You know, the notion we have, I think, in our modern society that a loving God simply is like okay with everything. It's not true. The heart of God is broken. You think your heart is broken over sin. God's heart is broken. Verses 9 and 10, he continues, he says, "For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is destruction. Their throat is an open tomb. They flatter with their tongue. Pronounce them guilty, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against you." The psalmist is gripped with a sense of the unrighteousness surrounding him, and he's bringing this complaint to the Lord. But verse 7 is key, and this is pivotal. He says this, "But as for me, I will come into your house in the multitude of your mercy." Wow. He doesn't say, "Oh God, all this evil, all these bad people, would you bring justice and judgment, and not me? Everything's fine with me." He says, "But as for me, I'll come into your house in the multitude of your mercy. In fear of you, I will worship toward your holy temple." Oh God. Oh God. The psalmist is realizing his need for a righteousness that is not the result of his own works, but something that comes from above. "Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before my face." The psalmist is really reaching up in the groaning inside as he looks out, but he's also realizing, I need something from heaven. And then verses 11 and 12 talk about the fruit for those who will come into the presence of the Lord in this manner, trusting in his mercies. "Let all those rejoice who put their trust in you. Let them ever shout for joy because you defend them. Let those also who love your name be joyful in you. For you, O Lord, will bless the righteous. With favor you will surround him as with a shield." I want to encourage you, we have an audience with the King. Be sure that you don't simply have that audience as a theological reality, but actually say, you know what? I'm going to look up. In the morning, I will direct my prayer to him. Come into his presence, trusting in his mercies for you, and watch what God does in terms of the fruit that he will produce in you. God bless you all.